Lewis Hamilton has admitted that he crossed the line with his Ferrari radio messages during the Dutch Grand Prix. But the more interesting question is not whether Hamilton was too angry. He has already answered that himself. The bigger question is why one of the most experienced drivers in Formula One felt he had to make those messages in the first place. At Zandvoort, Hamilton finished 4th, Charles Leclerc finished 5th. Ferrari left the Netherlands feeling like it had thrown away a podium because the race pace was there and the execution was not. Hamilton's radio outburst became the loudest moment of that story. The first thing to say is that this was not a driver throwing a tantrum because he was not being given priority over his teammate. Hamilton and Leclerc were on different tyre strategies. Hamilton had fresher tyres and more speed in that phase of the race. He felt that he had a chance to catch George Russell for the final podium place, but he was losing time behind the other Ferrari. Hamilton had passed Oscar Piastri on lap 35 and was soon right behind Leclerc. Charles was on older tyres, and Lewis was visibly quicker. Ferrari needed to decide what to do: let Hamilton through, call Leclerc in, or keep both cars on their existing plans and protect the wider strategy. The answer did not come quickly enough for Hamilton. By lap 43, he was still behind Leclerc. The team had initially wanted Charles to pit, but his stop was delayed by 1 lap. When Leclerc finally went into the pits, Hamilton was released into clean air. His response was sarcastic and clear: "Great waste of time there, guys." Later in the race, Ferrari left Hamilton out while the team worked out what to do around a virtual safety car. He asked, "Are you using me as a guinea pig?" Eventually, Ferrari brought him in. He came back out, chasing Russell for 3rd, but a late virtual safety car limited his final chance to attack. Hamilton finished 4th, only just missing the podium. And after the race, he made no attempt to hide how he felt. "I want to win," he said. "I'm here to win." He compared Ferrari's slow decision-making with Mercedes. During the same race, Mercedes swapped George Russell and Kimi Antonelli quickly when Antonelli had fresher tyres and a better chance to attack Lando Norris. Hamilton watched that happen in front of him and felt Ferrari had not been as sharp. His point was simple: Ferrari lost time while it debated, and by the time he was free, the gap to Russell was larger than it should have been. But the next day, Hamilton took a different tone. He listened back to his radio messages and his television comments. Then, he publicly took responsibility. "I've listened back to some of my radio and TV comments," Hamilton said. In the heat of the moment, frustration can come out, especially when you care as deeply as I do. But that wasn't the best version of me. I take responsibility for that, and I'll be better. That is important. Hamilton did not say his concerns were imaginary. He did not pretend that Ferrari had a perfect race. He simply recognized that the way he spoke was not how he wants to represent the team. And that is a mature response. Racing drivers are emotional people. They are trying to make decisions at over 300 kilometers per hour while watching tyre wear, battery levels, gaps, traffic, and strategy unfold at the same time. Hamilton had just lost time behind a teammate when he felt he had more pace. It is easy to understand why he was frustrated. Hamilton is a 7-time world champion whom Ferrari expects to lead under pressure. He knows public criticism becomes bigger when it comes from him. That is why the apology mattered. Hamilton did not distance himself from Ferrari. He said the frustration came from believing in the team and what it is building, while praising the factory's upgrades. So this was not Hamilton giving up on Ferrari. It was Hamilton demanding more from a team he believes can fight at the front. And Ferrari's own team principal, Fred Vasseur, basically agreed with the central point. Vasseur said Ferrari had decent pace in the race, but issues with execution. Those are not words you expect from a team boss after finishing 4th and 5th if he thinks the day was fine. He admitted that Ferrari has to take a deep look at what it did wrong. The radio drama was only one part of the problem. That distinction matters. A team can apologize for a bad radio exchange in one meeting. Fixing starts, pit stops, strategy, timing, and communication takes a much more disciplined response across the whole race operation. At the restart after Max Verstappen's early retirement, Leclerc had a poor getaway and lost a position to Piastri. That hurt Ferrari's race from the beginning. Later, Leclerc had a slow pit stop and lost another position. Then the strategy situation with Hamilton added more lost time. Together, those moments explain why a car with Mercedes' challenging pace ended up off the podium. This is the bigger issue for Ferrari in 2026. The SF26 is no longer a car that can only hope for unusual races or mistakes from other teams. Ferrari has made real progress. Hamilton and Leclerc have both won races this season. The team has kept bringing upgrades. At Zandvoort, Hamilton felt the car was competitive enough to fight with Mercedes. But speed is only half the job. A championship team needs clean starts, quick pit stops and clear communication. Mercedes showed that when it switched Russell and Antonelli. Ferrari did not show the same clarity with Hamilton and Leclerc. Vasseur explained that Ferrari did not tell Hamilton the full strategy because it did not want rivals to know the plan. The original idea was to keep Hamilton out until the end. In theory, that made sense. Ferrari wanted to protect its options. But Formula One strategy does not happen in theory. It happens in traffic, with changing tyre behaviour, other cars pitting, safety cars and drivers reacting to what they see in front of them. Leclerc was supposed to pit. Ferrari extended him by 1 lap. Vasseur called it a kind of confusion. Hamilton was stuck behind him during that lap. That is the detail that made the entire situation look worse from the cockpit. Vasseur also pointed out that the tyre picture was difficult. The differences between some compounds were small, and even Ferrari's drivers did not have a completely clear view of which plan would work best. That helps explain the confusion. It does not remove the cost of it. Because Hamilton was right about one thing: Ferrari cannot keep losing small chunks of time when its main rivals act faster. This is also why the relationship between Hamilton and Leclerc will be one of the most important stories for the rest of the season. Both are fighting for the same thing. Neither came to Ferrari to be a permanent number 2. Hamilton joined to chase an 8th world title. Leclerc has spent years waiting for Ferrari to give him a car capable of doing the same. They can work together, but Ferrari must be clear when one driver has the stronger opportunity. If it wants to hold position for strategy, it needs to explain why. Otherwise, both drivers lose time and rivals take the points. Ferrari still has a lot to fight for, but it cannot afford many more weekends where the car is quick enough for a podium and the team comes away with 4th and 5th. Hamilton has also raised another concern: straight line speed. He said Ferrari is losing a big amount of time on the straights to Mercedes and McLaren at some circuits, and that the team needs more power to stay in the fight. Ferrari has brought upgrades, and Hamilton praised the work, but he knows the car still needs more. That brings us to Monza. Ferrari heads to its home race under more pressure than normal. The Italian Grand Prix is not just another weekend for this team. Every radio message, every pit stop and every strategy decision will be watched closely by the Tifosi. The good news is that Ferrari did not leave Zandvoort with a slow car. The pace was encouraging. Hamilton was close enough to Russell to believe that a podium was possible. Leclerc had speed too, even after a difficult start. The bad news is that Ferrari once again gave everyone a reminder that potential does not score points by itself. Not because one angry radio message proves the team is falling apart. It does not. Hamilton and Leclerc are still committed. Vasseur is still backing the project. The car is improving. But because the difference between a good team and a title-winning team is often not raw speed, it is how quickly and clearly the team reacts when the race is changing in front of it. Zandvoort was a warning. Monza is Ferrari's chance to show that it learned the lesson.